I wrote my speech because I don't want to forget anything. So it's a bit long, but bear with me. So my name is Chase Martini, and everyone always asks me here how an American like myself found himself all the way out here in Ridasjärven. So I'll tell you all the same thing I tell everyone, that I got lost in the woods. But luckily when I came out, I found myself in a perfect place here. And, I was born in the USA in 1988. And so I'm 35 now, and I spent the last 20 years of my life struggling with substances. Now I'm proud to say that I've been free from alcohol and substance abuse for 10 months now, and I'm very happy to be here today and share a sober day with you all. I'll start by telling you a bit about my life and what brought me here. For me, growing up wasn't so easy, and it was really fast. Addiction and mental illness and generational trauma or curses, whatever you want to call it. They run in most families, I think, to some degree. My family's no different, so I had a lot of demons to deal with growing up, and I didn't have any ways to deal with it or coping mechanisms. All I knew was that when times get hard, I could just medicate myself or escape and try to forget about it. So I've been trying to get better almost all my adult life, at least, mostly on my own, and would go through like really long periods of being really good. But then, over and over when things would happen, I would relapse harder and harder. So for me, my addiction has always been cyclical. So these kind of emotional cycles, and the problem got worse when I was younger with drugs. But then over the last 9 years or so that I've been living in Finland, the relapses started to get worse, and I started drinking heavier and heavier, and that became the main concern. And then I started, using other things with it, and sometimes instead of it, and of course things got out of hand. So most of you will probably agree the situation or the way of coming to seek help for addiction and come to Ridis is not really a pretty sight, and it's usually due to something really hard you're going through or something giving away in your life that to years of not taking care of yourself and your life and the things you live for. So I'm the same, I lost almost everything that mattered to me, my life, my home, my pets. I was broke and I couldn't work. I couldn't even really talk to people or be around people, and I was in the middle of a bipolar episode, so I was suicidal, hysterical, depressed, manic, and even though I knew I was ruining my life, I just couldn't put the bottle down, just could not do it. So I had it before when it's been hard to put down the drink or the drugs after partying, because you don't want the fun to stop, and you also don't want the hangover from hell to come. So yeah, that's been like that before, but this time it was a bit different. Like, it was so urgent and important for me to stop, and I knew that. And I saw my life falling apart, but I couldn't stop. So I knew that I needed to stop before I get past the point of not coming back to get my life back, or I kill myself or something. And I saw for the first time how little power I had over it, because even faced with losing everything and knowing how much more suffering and misery I was in all the time, and I would give myself, I couldn't stop. So a lot of people who don't have a good understanding of addiction don't realize that many of us have had this exact same feeling, the absolute need and want to get better and sober, but how impossible it can feel to simply stop. So when someone tells an addict, just stop doing it, you gotta stop doing that shit. But no matter how good their intentions are, it's the same as telling someone who's severely depressed, like, hey, like, cheer up, just smile, It's not an instant thing we can do to feel better. There isn't a magical switch that you can do like that, but there is a magical switch that you can make yourself feel better, but it takes time and dedication and work. And flipping that switch in your life needs the time to process yourself, your life, and your past, and what you want for your future. It takes help and love and guidance, support and discipline. Because healing and growing and overcoming addiction isn't something that you can do just from one side or one way. You have to come at it from all different angles and ways. Your mind, your body, your soul, all these different things. You need to try to repair the different parts of yourself and find what works best for you personally. So you can only find out what works for you and what makes you feel alive by trying. If you don't try anything different and anything new, then you won't be able to find that way out. So there's something I read recently that was talking about a doctor of some sort who was asking his patient or his client, so what is your problem? And the person answers, I'm addicted to this drug, or I'm addicted to alcohol. And he says, no, that's how you've been treating your problem. So I think as much as substances themselves become addictive and addictions, most of the time we're trying to treat another problem, ease our pain, fill an emptiness inside of us, or we just can't handle what we're going through without something to make it at least a little easier to get through the day. So for some people, it might be something missing in their life. For others, it might be something in their life that shouldn't be there, or maybe it's the past troubling them, or the future worrying them, or more often than not, addiction is caused by a combination of all of these things. So when there are so many things to process and figure out, it's important to have a community of support to receive and share lessons and knowledge and advice with each other, to really be open to anything and everything that might help to treat the real problems behind the addiction. So what I loved most about my experience at Ridasjärven is the way that people help each other by offering a place to talk and listen to each other's problems through group therapy sessions, and really get to understand their relationship to substances with a counselor present. And I think this allows for people to figure out what is that exactly that is missing or needs improving in their lives. We need to reduce the need for drinking or using by understanding that way. It's not about telling you what you're doing wrong or making people feel bad about their mistakes and for being here, or about teaching the wrongs of addiction, trying to scare you off of substances, or just a place to take medication and stare at the wall until they say you can go. It's not a place like that, but it is a place, it's a safe place without judgment to process your struggle with other people who have the same problems, so that you can come to your own truth about your experiences and how you want to move forward. And I love that so much about the way it works here, because I think it's the best way. There's a wise lesson where a student tells his master that he's really sad, he's depressed. So the master tells the student to go knock on all the neighbors' doors and find him one without problem. So the student goes, and when he comes back, he can no longer say he's sad, because after listening to everyone else's problems and not finding a neighbor without problems, he realized that we all have our own problems all the time, and that we have to find a way to be happy anyways, because problems and difficulties in life will always be there. And the only way through them is to feel them and to deal with them, not to run away from them. So I certainly learned how true that is being here at Ridasjärven, and it was very good for my own recovery to feel like part of a group and part of a community. So a lot of people think they're a failure if they don't get sober the first time trying, and then they feel discouraged and put off trying altogether. But statistics show that up to 90% of addicts relapse for substances like alcohol and opiates. At the same time, some treatment methods and programs and the right lifestyle changes bring full recovery rates up to 60 to 90%. So 60 to 90% of addicts do actually make a full recovery. So it's almost like relapsing is a step that most of us face during the recovery process. But no matter how many setbacks you are having, or if you've been sober for 10 or 20 years, the point is healing, growth, progress, and taking things day by day. The reason I say this is that I remember some people when I was here seemed a little hopeless because they were back again after such a short time, and other people who felt just as bad after being sober for 10 years and relapsing. But both of these things show so much progress, but they couldn't see it. For one person, it was really great progress because after such a short time and relapse, they decided to come back. So something had switched there, that magic stopping switch. They recognized that, hey, this is bad, I don't want this, I need to go back for help, which is awesome because then the idea went from coming to Redis, maybe I should get sober, I'm gonna go see if I can do it, see how things go, to now it's like, no, this needs to stop. And so that's such a big change, but they still felt so bad. And the other person had an amazing achievement, 10 years sober, but they were devastated because they felt like they ruined all their hard work. But it wasn't ruined at all. It was just a lesson, or maybe a much needed reminder, and a step of progress still with the reality check. So even if it took them 5 more times, the switch just keeps getting stronger and more in place each time with each lesson and each attempt, until it becomes, this is absolutely not who I am or what I want to do with my life anymore. So once you've made that decision to live a sober life and to keep taking better care of yourself and making the commitment to healing yourself and growing, then you've already won. And it's just a matter of time and effort. Because the most successful people are not those who have never failed. They are those who have failed more times than the others have tried. Anything you practice, you get better at, and it's impossible to get worse at something you practice, and sobriety is no different. If you practice sobriety, you will get better at it. Every single day is a chance to start new and fresh and do better than you did the day before. Each day you can decide who you want to be and how you want to face the world that day, how you want to see the world, and how you want to be seen in it. You are allowed to be whoever you want to be, and you can change who you are as many times as you want, until you find the love and respect for yourself that you deserve, and the things in life that give you purpose and give life something to wake up for. The perfect time to reinvent yourself and change your life is when you have nothing left to lose and are at rock bottom. For instance, coming here. Then you can really have a new start and begin fresh. Let go of everything that's been holding you back. Only allow back in what's good for you, and build everything from the bottom with a solid foundation of sobriety and responsibility and taking care of yourself and following your dreams. Because one of the greatest tricks of substances is that they tie you down to a way of being that stops you from growing and becoming who you really are. At least for myself, one of the biggest regrets I have about what I lost to drugs and alcohol is that I lost who I really was inside before the addiction really took control of my life. The person I am without substances, and what is truly important to that person, and what that person really enjoys and gets happiness from. The things that I really came back to during my time in treatment and since then are music and writing lyrics and poetry, making videos, with photography, spending time in nature, getting more into spirituality and reading and sports and exercise again. And there's all these sorts of things that I used to have fun doing, and that I used to make me feel good before I needed substances to feel good. So Redis is a place that allows you the environment and the time to rediscover yourself, or maybe even to find yourself for the first time. So when I was a client here, a perfect day for me here would have been waking up early to have a quiet coffee, plan my day. Then I'd go to the gym and do some cardio on the bike or the cross trainer for a good 20, 30 minutes with Yagi over here. And then we were so crazy we'd go to the cold water pool at 6 in the morning for a 10, 15 minute swim after the gym. After that, it's time for a nice breakfast, and I've got a really good appetite going. And I remember how good it felt to be eating so well and enjoying so much good food so much. I eat a bit of everything there with some milk and juice, and take some sandwiches for later. Then a morning group followed by some kind of group activity like a walk down to the lake. Then lunch is always really good, and it's always a hot topic for the day for everyone. So after that, I might go to the gym, lift some weights, maybe do some reading or writing, meditating in the pro chair, which is one of my favorite things to do, or maybe even a Reiki treatment from chemo or acupuncture from Gati. But then it would also have to be a Wednesday too, on a perfect day, because that's sauna day. So between dinner and sauna, maybe we play some games in the canteen, some bingo, pool, and poker, while we listen to some music. Then maybe watch something or read before I go to sleep. Even after being out of treatment for 7 months now, I would still call that a perfect day. And if you asked me and told me that would be my perfect day 2 years ago, I probably would have laughed. But what has happened is that peace stops looking boring, and excitement no longer needs to be powered by rocket fuel. So by offering all of these activities and treatments that they do here, you have the opportunity to try all kinds of different things and learn different things that might spark something inside of you. And someone might find their home in the music room or in the arts and crafts room, get a taste for cooking in the group house, or it might be exercising and sports you get into here, or even working with animals when you go down to see the horses at the stable. And if there are things that you want to learn about, you can check the library for a good book, or at least you have the time here, maybe do some online courses or start watching tutorials and videos of things you want to learn about and get into. The point is that Ridis offers one of the most precious things in the world, time. It offers people time to not only recover, but time when you're allowed to focus just on yourself without worrying about all the outside life as much of the day-to-day things that might be making your problem worse or harder to deal with. It's not just this time that's so important, but it's also the atmosphere and the environment that is so important also. Set on such a lovely countryside property with such kind and friendly staff who truly care and do such an amazing job here. And the support of the group and being there for each other, as well as the whole community helping each other out and taking care of each other. It's a very special place, I think, which is why I keep coming back to host meditation groups and motivational talks and organize activities and things like that. So, as for me, since finishing my treatment, I moved back into my home with my wife, and I have a new job at a nice restaurant, and things are better than they've ever been. My relationships have improved, I have more energy, I look much healthier and better, my money lasts twice as long as it used to, I'm doing all kinds of cool things, activities and fun stuff, and enjoying long walks with my dogs and gardening, and just such nice things that are giving me so much more happiness than any substance ever did. So now, for the first time in my life, I can sit with myself in silence, just with my thoughts, and maybe a pen and a notebook nearby. And at night, I can just turn off the lights and put my head down and just fall asleep, which is just such a big and new thing for me. It's even hard to say how much it means to me to be able to do that. And also, just for a lot of simple but very important little things like that have changed my life since getting sober. I feel so grateful and thankful to everyone here at Ridis, especially my counselor Hilla, for helping me to find a level of peace that I never thought I would find before. Finally, this place is about community, and community is about helping each other, and helping each other is love. Love isn't just a romantic feeling or an intimate emotion, but it is a consciousness, a state of mind, a vibration of being. You can get to the point where you love everyone, including those who have done you the most harm, for the best lessons that you've had in life. You love life and you love everything in it, and its beautiful imperfection, just like us. And you love yourself and you love the way you feel. Once you get to that point, you're living on the love frequency. And love is something that heals both the giver and the taker. When you love someone and help them, it isn't just good for them, it is also good for you. Because it is important for us to have people to love in order to give our lives purpose and to know and feel that we do good in the world. Then love is contagious, it spreads. The more we help each other, the more we love each other, the more others will be inspired to do the same, which is not only what Ridis is about, but the whole recovery and sobriety community as well. It is said that when we heal ourselves, we heal the others around us also. Therefore, the more we heal ourselves and others, the more others can heal the people in their lives, and so it grows. So when we are helping and living and loving and caring and living for each other, we are literally changing the world and making it a better place. So let's love ourselves and each other and life, and I'll be thankful that you're here today. Thank you very much.
No niin.